Hello, beautiful peaches. Welcome to the Macros, Metabolism, and Motivation Beautiful Peach Podcast. I'm your host, Caitlen, a reverse diet expert, sustainable fat loss nerd, and food freedom lover. After healing my own mind, body, and metabolism from the icky, restrict, binge, food guilt cycles, I became obsessed with helping other women do the same. I spent 6 years getting my bachelor's and master's degrees in all things nutrition, dietetics, and metabolism health, go Clemson Tigers, in order to start a science-backed, never cookie-cutter, always customized online macro and reverse diet coaching business. I have supported over 3,500 incredible women in their journey to endless results, and I am so excited to help you do the same. In this podcast, I will be teaching you how to break up with the yo-yo diet cycles, tips and tricks to heal your metabolism through reverse dieting. I will be giving away my sustainable weight loss secrets, all without you having to give up a single food you love. So if you're ready to rediscover that self-love and truly become the most confident, beautiful peach possible, grab a pen and a piece of paper, bump up your volume just a little, and let's dive right in. And don't forget to snag your completely free high-protein macro cookbook. All you need to do is submit a quality 5-star rate and review on this podcast, then fill out the form in the show notes so I know exactly where to send your cookbook. This will actually also automatically enter you into the weekly macro calculator giveaway. Every week, I give away a copy of my C. Schmidt macro calculator to one lovely, beautiful peach who has left an awesome 5-star rate and review on this podcast. The winner is announced every single week in my email newsletter email list, as well as my Instagram story. You can't miss it. So leave that 5-star rate and review, and I will see you in the episode. What is up, my beautiful peach? Today, we're going to be diving into reverse dieting phase 2, which is a slow metabolism and weight regain phase. I am doing a series of episodes. Last week was our very first episode, which is basically what happens when we hit diet burnout. And it is a good one. I love that episode as well. Very good. I have not done any episodes in a while talking through the 4 phases of reverse dieting, and they're so incredibly important. I talk about reverse dieting all the time. I talk about healing our metabolism. I talk about macros. And I just needed to do this refresher because it is so important to understand that we hit 4 different phases when it comes to reverse dieting. The first being last week's episode, all about diet burnout. This week being reverse dieting phase 2, what happens, how we have a slow metabolism and how it creates weight regain. And then phase 3 and phase 4, I don't actually have the full episode, the official name on here, but it's essentially going to be talking about how we can eat more without the weight regain, and then also how we can actually lose weight without ever dieting again and keeping that weight off sustainably. Okay. So without further ado, I do want to dive into this episode here. Phase 2, a slow metabolism and weight regain. I would probably rate this phase the worst phase because, yes, of course, the diet burnout is not fun. It is not fun to struggle with no energy when our body's going haywire, when we're in a plateau, when we're binge eating. But man, when we add phase 2, seeing the weight regain on top of the diet burnout, that's bad. That, when I was in that space and I was just at this lowest low, I remember like crying in my dorm room all alone. I remember going home on the holidays. This was back my freshman year in college, a very long time ago, but I still have these vivid memories because that pain, it heals, but it's always going to be there in the sense of like, I remember the pain that I had. And so I see it in the ladies who come to me and who work with me and who reach out. I know the pain that you're going through. I know the struggle. I know how it feels so alone. And also I know how it feels to be free on the other side. So I see you, I hear you. And also I want you to know that you can get out of that space. Okay. I remember going home one holiday, probably multiple holidays, but one scenario specifically where I had such a bad binge. And I remember like sitting on my mom's lap as a
however old you are in college student. I talked about this in a past episode. And I was like, wait, how old are you when you're a freshman in college? I was like, I don't even remember how old that is, but it feels so young. But anyway, I was sitting in my mom's lap, bawling my eyes out because I was in physical pain. I was in internal pain. The binge was so bad. And I just remember crying to her, being like, I just want this to stop. I just want this to be better. And here I am today. It is better. I am feeling so free. I've been free for the past decade, and you are just so deserving of that as well. So today I really want to talk about, yes, it stinks to be where we are now. And also, yes, it is possible to heal. You are not broken. Okay. So let's talk about why the weight regain does happen. And just to give you some background in case you missed it, please go watch or go listen to the first episode in this series. It's literally last week's episode, because if you haven't listened to that one, it's a really, really good prereq for what I'm teaching you here. I personally have my bachelor's degree in nutrition and dietetics, my master's degree in exercise science and sports nutrition, and I wrote my master's thesis on reverse dieting. So all of these 4 phases are extreme. There's a lot of education coming into these, but I really, really, really want you to understand what is going on with your body, because when we have the what, the why, and how, something my desk just randomly moved. I'm like, yeah, what was that? Do we have a ghost in here? If so, we'll stay at peace. It's all good. But the point being here is we want to know the what, the why, and the how, because when we have the education behind what's going on with our body, we're allowed to, or it gives us the advantage and the opportunity to have a different frame of mind when it comes to results. And it allows us to see dieting as its own separate thing and say, okay, well, also I can not diet. I don't have to restrict. And also I can see changes happen. Okay. So I really love to teach and educate in all these little goodies here. So talking about why the weight starts coming back on, anytime we do any kind of food restriction, no matter what kind of diet it was, it's putting us at an overall calorie deficit, as explained in the previous episode. But on top of that, it's actually slowing down our metabolism. So if you've been listening to my podcast for a while, I always talk about this gear example, but I want to talk about it again because it is so relatable when it comes to our body. So if you imagine a machine, okay, and in this machine, we've got one main gear, one big old gear, and then around that gear, we've got all these tiny little gears, okay? What's going to happen is, I saw somebody else talking about this, and it's somebody that I know who had seen it, and I was like, wait, but that's my example. And I was like, wait, but I'm excited that people are hearing this and getting it. So anyway, so we've got our main gear here, and we've got these smaller gears around, okay? Now, if this gear is moving nicely, it's going to the right, all these small gears are also moving nicely. The machine is working at its absolute best. It's at 100%, efficiency. Things are going well for it. However, if that main gear in the middle starts to slow down, whether there's a rock in it, whether it just needs some oil, whatever it may be, what's going to happen? It's going to start to slow down, meaning all the other gears that rely on that main gear are also going to start to slow down. Why does this happen? Well, that main gear is basically like our metabolism. When we are in an overall, well, we could do this 2 different ways. When we're in an overall calorie deficit, our metabolism gear is not working the way that we want it to, okay? Which means that our energy is going to start to slow, okay? We've got a rock in that metabolism gear. Our energy is going to start to slow. Our libido is going to slow. Our sleep-wake is going to get messed up. Our digestion is going to be messed up. We're going to see some weight regain. We're going to be in a plateau. All of these things are going to be happening. And it's because that main metabolism gear, that's the problem. It's not that you haven't found the right diet. It is the fact that your metabolism has slowed. So you can continue to go into different calorie deficits. You can continue to do different diets, but that's not going to be healing the problem. Okay? So the problem is the slow metabolism. So let's do an example here. When we go from, I have a different example here, but in the past episode, I used the example of somebody who was eating 2,400 calories and went down to 1,600 calories. So let's do that example. So when we go from 2,400 calories, I think it was 2,400 to 1,600. I can't remember off the top of my head, but basically somewhere around there from the past example. It might be a little bit different, but same idea. When we go from 2,400 calories down to 1,600 calories, what's actually happening is your metabolism is slowing down to that 1,600 calorie place. It's trying to down-regulate your body to match that energy level. So when you think about it this way, let's say you're eating 2,400 calories. That's where your metabolism needs to be to work at its 100% battery power. Okay, so it's feeling good. Nothing's down-regulated. You have kick butt libido. Your energy is rock star. You're taking your kids out. You're doing all the fun things. You're feeling great. Life is grand, okay? And also, you just want to lose weight, right? So you want to lose weight, but literally all of those other things are rock star. They're feeling great. You have energy. You don't have a bad relationship with food. You don't binge, anything like that. You just want to lose weight, okay? So everything's at like 100%. You just want to lose weight, okay? You go down to 1,600 calories, which means that you no longer have 100% battery power, but your body needs 100% battery power in order to work at its max efficiency, for it to work at its absolute best. But you don't have that, so it's going to start to try and down-regulate your body systems. It's going to take team players out, put them on the sideline because it does not have enough food. But you're not where you want to go yet. And you continue down, you go to 1,200 calories. Your body's like, well, shoot, I need 100% battery power. I don't even have that. All right, let's down-regulate more. Let's slow down that libido. Let's slow down that energy even more, okay? Then we go further, down to 900 calories. And our body is like, holy moly, lady, what are you doing, okay? And so it's going to continue to down-regulate. The scientific term, I know obviously I'm talking about putting team players on the side. It's like our metabolism's talking to us. I like to think of it as like little talking metabolism. The science behind this, the science behind what's actually happening, what your metabolism is going through, is called metabolic adaptation, okay? And metabolic being metabolism, adaptation being adapting. When we are going into these lower calorie places, it's actually causing our metabolism to adapt, right? Metabolic adaptation, metabolic metabolism, adaptation, adapting. Metabolism's adapting to a lower calorie intake, okay? This is a natural process that our body goes through. Now, it's not one that we really want it to go to, but this is a safety mechanism that our body has built in for times when it's not getting enough food. I think I have this in my notes later on. I talk about this quite often, but our bodies they don't understand the difference between us being out in the wilderness and not being able to get food. And so quite literally protecting us by down-regulating our body, down-regulating our libido. If you are out fighting for your life, you're not really going to need that libido, okay? It's going to try and give you the energy power, the things that are going to keep you living and breathing, okay? So I can't tell the difference between you out fighting for your life in the wilderness versus you just doing a la-di-da calorie deficit and a diet, okay?
I want to interrupt this oh so lovely podcast of mine to let you know all about the Reverse Diet course. This is my high-level course for women who want to learn exactly how to adjust their macros and heal their metabolism through reverse dieting so they can eat more food, lose more weight, yes please, and take control over their body and results. Reverse dieting is a process that needs to be custom to you as an individual and your metabolism. This is exactly why I have included the Reverse Diet Checklist, which will walk you through exactly when to and when not to adjust your macros based on your own personal biofeedback every week. I've also included my own personal coaching template called the Reverse Diet Plug and Play Spreadsheet, which honestly alone is worth hopping into the Reverse Diet course for. It holds literally all of my knowledge in one spreadsheet of exactly how much of protein, carbs, or fat to adjust, because they are all adjusted separately, to make sure that you are having a kick butt reverse diet. In addition, because we love a good bonus, you will get access to the macro calculator to make sure that you are actually having proper starting macros. We want that good solid foundation. You will also get bonus access to my alcohol plug and play tracker to make sure that you're able to pop that bubbly and celebrate this amazing journey while still having the fun cocktails. So go ahead, grab the Reverse Diet course. The link is down below in the show notes. And if you have any questions for me, please feel free to reach out on Instagram at CSCHMIDT.fit, and I am here to support you. Enjoy the rest of the episode.
So I think what's really important to note is our body is going to protect us. This is naturally just what our body's going to do, okay? It's a literal science. It's what our body does, okay? It's science. Now, in last week's episode, I talked about the different kinds of diet burnout. We had 1, which was mental, 2, which was physical, and 3, which was internal. And each of these reactions happen as an impact. It also impacts. So it's as an impact from calorie restrictions, and also it's going to impact our weight regain and our metabolism. I think that made sense. So number 1, the mental side of things. When we're dieting, we are, restricting, saying no to social settings. We have no energy. We're having a hard time maintaining that space. So we're going to hit the point where we say no more. We mentally cannot keep up that restriction. We are so unbelievably unhappy in our quality of life. So now not only do we still not have our weight loss, right? I said earlier, we wanted the weight loss, but everything else was, so good. We have this kick butt relationship with food. We felt good. We only wanted the weight loss. Now we not only don't have the weight loss, but now we have a terrible relationship with food. We're struggling internally. We have a lack of self-worth, right? Everything else has gone haywire. And we're just like, our body's like, chaos. Okay. Now what's going to happen is we're going to go back to the way that we were eating before, meaning you have chosen to not eat at that low calorie. Mentally, you're saying, I would rather not be at 900 calories. However, your body has adapted to 900 calories. So sure, you can say, I don't want to be here. I'm not happy being here, but your metabolism is going to stay exactly where it is. Okay. So you're going to go back to eating 2,400 calories for an example, but number 2, physical here, because of our metabolic adaptation, right? Our metabolism adapting to that lower calorie intake. Our metabolism is used to eating that 900 calories, right? So it's been down-regulated, meaning when you go from 900 calories all the way up to 2,400 calories, what is that math? It's like 1,500 more calories, right? Did I do the math right? Why is this so hard right now? I'm normally pretty good with math, but like when it comes to recording, I'm like, I gotta think of it fast, and I can't think of it that fast. But anyway, what is that? Okay, so 1,000. 1,500. Okay, yeah. So it's 1,500 additional calories that you are eating a day because your metabolism's at that 900. You're eating 2,400. This actually would probably be close to 2 pounds gain every other day, which is around 3, give or take somewhere around 3 pounds gained a week. Okay. And it's because your metabolism is sitting at a lower place and you're trying to eat more. Okay. Now that's our second thing, our physical here. And you're like, I don't get why I'm gaining weight back. And it's not because you started eating the carbs specifically again. It's not because you started, you stopped intermittent fasting. I saw one of my friends who she was talking about intermittent fasting. Her and I have very, very similar mindsets. And she just made this joke of how people were like, I'm losing weight on intermittent fasting. Oh my gosh. And it's like, well, the reason why you're losing weight is because you're eating overall less. It's not because you're eating in a certain window. And it's so interesting to me. It's just interesting to me. The diet world is interesting how it's like, it's not a lie, quote unquote, because they're just withholding information. But in my mind, I'm like, if you're withholding information, that's a lie. I don't know. That's where I will always stand. I'm like, intermittent fasting, it's like, oh, you're eating in a certain window. That's why you're seeing changes. And it's like, wait, but no, it's literally just because you're eating less. Anyway, it drives me completely bonkers. So our last piece here is it's internal. We end up in this panic mode and we're just like, oh my gosh, weight loss happened when I did low carb, but I internally just cannot do it again. So we end up feeling more and more and more defeated. And so many women just go back to finding another diet, from bouncing to intermittent fasting, to keto, to Optavia, to going on diet pills, from one thing after the next. And we don't realize that all diets are quite literally the same thing, just with different guidelines and a different name. Okay. And the problem isn't that we haven't found the right diet. It's the problem is that we haven't stopped dieting. And the problem is that we have a slow metabolism and a down-regulated body. Okay. That's why we're having the weight regain. So the solution isn't to go do another diet. The solution is to heal our metabolism through reverse dieting. And the tough love here, we can literally continue down the path of dieting for the rest of our life. And a lot of people do. I work with a lot of women in their 50s and their 60s who are like, Kate, my clients call me Kate. I adore them to pieces. We all just become close. But they were like, Kate, if I had not found you, I would have literally dieted until I was 100. And that's the thing though. Like the tough love is like, we can literally continue down the path of dieting and restricting, but we're not going to change if nothing changes, nothing changes. So in order to lose weight and actually keep it off, no matter how long you continue to find other diets, which pains me because you are spending money on things that aren't actually going to give you the long-term change, rather than investing in yourself right here and now in that long-term change, right? You can continue down those dieting paths. You're not going to see changes happen if you have a slow metabolism until you reverse diet. Okay. And I remember my very first reverse diet, it was intimidating. And just to be like so completely transparent with you, as I'm saying this, I know it's tough love, but I also want you to know I was terrified when I did my first reverse diet. I am endlessly glad that I did it, but also it's scary. We're doing something that is completely out of our comfort zone. We have been dieting for so incredibly long that it becomes this odd comfort zone. And although it's an unhealthy comfort zone, when we're starting to move out of that comfort into something that feels uncomfortable, even if it is a reverse diet, which will lead us to that long-term change, it's uncomfortable. It's out of our comfort zone. We get scared and we want to run back to dieting, even though we know that's not going to lead us to where we want to go. Okay. So my biggest tip here is quite truly learning how to be uncomfortable. And when I say uncomfortable, like I want you to know, like, it's got to feel good in your gut. Like, you're doing the right thing. A reverse diet is good for you. That's what I mean. Like, getting out of your comfort zone is going to help you grow and change. Okay. So the diet world has trained us to think that, we have to stay where we are, but you're not going to see changes until you do that reverse diet. And when done right, I see a lot of people who they'll come to me and they say like, hey, Caitlen, I'm doing a reverse diet. Like, I just increased my calories by, X, Y, Z, but I've gained 20 pounds back. And I'm like, all right, so I want to give you some honest feedback here. That wasn't a reverse diet. That was actually just eating in a surplus amount of food. So when we're eating in a surplus without a reverse diet, if we are going to be eating, let's say our 900 calories or our 1200 calories, let's say 1200 calories, and we just add in 500 calories back or 200 calories back or 100 calories back, whatever you want to say, that we just add food back in there. That means that our metabolism is sitting at 1200. We have just bumped up the calories by a couple hundred calories, say 1400. Our metabolism's still down at that 1200 calorie place. That's going to be a surplus compared to where your metabolism sits if you are not doing a strategic reverse diet and you are just increasing your overall intake by a lump sum, okay? And we're going to talk a lot more about this in the next episode of the specifics of reverse dieting, because macros are adjusted separately. Protein, carbs, and fat are not adjusted all at once. We do not want to be just adjusting by 50 calories or 100 calories. I will talk much more in depth about that tomorrow. But my main piece here is just to remind yourself, like, you are not alone. You are I feel like I'm like I normally don't have like a potty mouth, but like, you're a badass who can like do this. You can do this. If I can do it, if I was this girl who was terrified and lonely and scared and I felt so alone, but I did it, you can do it too. I have worked with over 3,500 women who came to me saying, Caitlen, I don't know if I can follow through. Caitlen, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. Caitlen, I think I'm just a failure. I think I'm broken. And when they said, no, I'm having all these feelings, but I'm not going to let them hold me back. And they leapt in, they allowed me to hold their hand every step of the way to hold their head, help them hold their head high on those days where they're having a bad, mindset day. And then also to cheer them on. Looking back, they can say, hey, I did not let those fears win. I recognize that, that you could help me, you being me. Like they told me, I have so many clients who are like, if I had not taken the leap, I would have been in the same place. I was terrified. I was scared, but I trusted you. I trusted science. I knew you would not lead me down the wrong path. And that right there, the ability to acknowledge your fears, but to not let them hold you back. And also to not let them allow you to create excuses. I have so many women, and I've done this in the past too, where I was like, oh, I'm just too busy, or, I don't know if I'm going to be traveling. And the thing is, like, you will literally never not be busy. My programs are built for busy women. You will never not be busy. So if you actually take the leap now and let me help you navigate and learn how to go about those real world scenarios as a busy, badass woman, then when those times do come, when it's a little bit less busy, you have already got a game plan. It becomes even more easier and you are allowed to continuously see those changes happen, okay? There's literally never going to be a right time. I have clients, I actually encourage my clients to travel when working together so I can help you learn to navigate those real world situations. I want you to be eating out. I want you to be traveling. I want you to be enjoying the holidays. I want you to be ordering your favorite foods, to go get the foods without nutrition labels, to do the real world thing so I can help you learn to navigate those situations while healing from the inside out. So you are not alone. You are so incredibly capable. You just have to let go of those fears, acknowledge them, but don't let them run you. You get to run them. You get to not make excuses and you get to take that step forward because nobody's going to do it but you. Okay. Nobody's coming to save you. I'm here to hold your hands, but I can't take that action for you. And you are such a badass. So with all of this, I am so excited for next week's episode. Go take a little listen for me to last week's episode if you have not, and I will see you in the next episode where we're going to talk all about eating more without the weight regain. So I'll see you there. Bye, my beautiful peach.